Charlie, has there been an example of maybe a challenge you had in getting buy-in, somebody who's maybe not sure why you wanted to make a change and kind of what you did to bring them along and show them the value of the change you were making. I know you mentioned the Alice program and getting more principals and teachers to buy into the training. Are there other examples you have of maybe kind of helping somebody to drag their feet, helping somebody that was dragging their feet? And the reason I asked that question is that, Henry understands from an IT perspective. You talk about like that 15 minutes, that's the same way we view security, is that you're never going to guarantee that you're going to be perfectly safe, but if you can make it very hard, then that helps you to reduce your overall exposure and vulnerability. But a lot of school districts, a lot of IT professionals struggle with getting folks to buy into certain practices and protocols that can improve. We call it kind of like security hardening, those security hardening practices that would be applied district wide. Have you had a similar challenge from a physical security perspective where it's good for the district, it's good for the teachers, it's good for the students, but there are a few people who are just they want to stick to the old ways, and you got to kind of put your thinking cap on and figure out, well, how do I turn them around?
Yes, we started locking our classroom doors 4 years ago. It was a pretty big struggle,
Okay.
um, but it goes back to my experience as a teacher. I was a teacher. I was an administrator. So one thing that we did do, the superintendent did something very innovative when the Guardian program came aboard, is we hired some security people that their primary job is to look at those three layers of
Hmm.
security every day in all of our schools. And so we were able to do that. With that, they had to check doors. Through that process, we did have a few that, as you can, you know, that hey, I was here before you got here. This will be gone in a year. Um, you know, we're gonna just wait it out. We're not gonna do this. And so
Hmm.
through that process, my guardians, they took names down. We went through the process and had the administration get involved in it. Some administration, they get busy with other things. That's not, at that time, it wasn't what it's going to be with House Bill 1473, which I knew it was coming.
Hmm.
So I actually engaged in that conversation with that teacher and wanted to really know why, why won't you shut your door? So I engaged that really, and that wasn't a negative engagement. It was hey, I'm here. I'm trying to understand why don't you want to shut this door? Why are you having problems with this?
Hmm.
And we rectified all of those. I will say this to you: we had a couple people leave our district. Um, I don't know if it was because of that or other things, but generally now I can say this to you today, 4 years later, every classroom door is locked.
Hmm.
So it becomes what you inspect uh, becomes the expectation. So that's what the process of Guardians done. That's what they do. They look at the campus every morning at the first campus they're at. Exteriorly, they're looking at that outside zone. Then they
Hmm.
come, or the perimeter, I should say. Then they come back and look at the exterior. Is everything working? Access readers, cameras, gates secure. Is all the gates working? Do I see anything out here unusual? Do I need to report that to law enforcement or to the administration? And then they move into that first period bell rings and they start looking at all the classroom doors. Are they all locked? Then they continuously do that throughout the day, and then they rotate to another school as well throughout the day. So that layer of security that the superintendent and the school board were able to provide to us has really pushed that along. But I'll be honest with you, uh, the Walton way is safety is our number one priority,
Hmm.
and the superintendent he's saying that wherever he goes. That's the first thing he says, and he means that. So
Hmm.
I want to say this to you. I've been in this business 27 years this year, right here in Walden County. The superintendent we have has great vision. His number one priority is to keep people safe and for kids to get the best education possible. And when
Hmm.
you talked about high rankings that Mr. Martin discussed, and that's all when kids feel safe, things happen.
Mm.
They don't have to worry about the other parts of it. So we're always checking that to make sure that that's happening, and we put some great measures in place to do that. And we've got buy-in. People want to buy into it, and so when you first start something, it's very difficult because you got the naysayers, but you just got to keep your head down. And I'll be honest with you, I was the type of person that just went to them and said, "Hey, I'm not here to cause a problem. But I just want to know why you don't want to do this." And
Mm.
and we resolved all those.